times in the Old Testament before being born as a babe in Bethlehem. Or he was suggested, he was hinted at. There are clues dropped along the way revealing the identity of the Son of God, revealing the person of Jesus Christ, even before Christ was born in Bethlehem. Keep your finger here at Proverbs 8. Look forward, if you will, to Proverbs 30. Proverbs 30, and look at verse 4. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name? And what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Now, come back to the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 3. Keep your finger at chapter 8 of Proverbs, but Exodus chapter 3. And notice there what God says to Moses. Exodus 3, verse 14. God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, hath sent me unto you. All you need to know about the identity of God is that He exists, as opposed to not existing. As opposed to being an atheist, God exists. How would you define the eternal deity? How could you even begin identifying it or defining it or describing Him? How could you describe the indescribable? How would you define in human terms that which goes beyond human understanding? That infinite being that transcends human knowledge, transcends every language of man, transcends every thought of every creature in the universe. How would you begin to describe the source of all reality? Think about God. How would you begin to describe Him? All God could say is, I am, that I am, I exist. That's all you need to know. Tell me the one that exists has sent me. The eternal Father has sent me. And but He says, I am that I am. That's what you're going to tell Him. You go tell Him that I am has sent me. And so in John 8, verse 58, Jesus said, I tell you this before Abraham was, I am. And the Bible says the Jews took up stones to stone Him. And Christ said, for a good, He says, why do you stone me? Which good deed are you stoning me for? And they said, for a good deed we stone thee not, but because thou, being a man, makest thyself God. They understood the implication of what He meant, what He said. He was claiming the same name of God for Himself. And they couldn't abide by that. They couldn't let that happen. Now come, if you will, to the book of Judges. Judges and chapter 13. Judges 13. Judges 13, we begin there at verse 17. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord, What is thy name? And that when thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, Why askest thou thus after my name, seeing it is secret? So, the angel of the Lord appeared to a man, and we believe that the angel of the Lord appeared numerous times in the Old Testament. That was Jesus Christ making a pre-incarnate appearance. Sometimes they have these technical terms they call a theophany or a Christophany, meaning an appearance of Christ in the Old Testament, or an appearance of God. But so Jesus Christ appeared before He was born as a babe in Bethlehem, and so we don't dispute with that at all. So when the Bible says He was brought forth, it simply means He was revealed, He was manifested, and He certainly was in the Bible before He was born in Bethlehem. we don't find it difficult to believe in that Jesus Christ, part of the Godhead, He has always existed. He has always been part of the nature of God before God made anything. He never had a starting point. There was never a point in human or in the history of the universe where God made Jesus. And then Jesus made everything else. Jesus isn't a created being. He is the creator of all that exists. Verse 25, back in Proverbs chapter 8. Excuse me, I lost my place. I told you not to read your place. Proverbs 8, verse 25. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills were brought forth. Come also back to the book of Job. Keep your finger here. Job chapter 38. Job 38, notice verse 6. Very similar language. Verse 6, whereupon are the foundations thereof fastened, or who laid the cornerstone thereof? From the Psalm 104. Psalm 104. And verse 8. Psalm 104, verse 8. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys unto the place which thou hast founded for them. The earth itself, the structure of the earth, the structure of our planet, the valleys, the mountains, underwater volcanoes, the inner core, the outer core, the mantle, the crust of the earth, the structure of the earth itself was made by the wisdom of God. That is, the wisdom personified as Jesus Christ. Notice that even before that time, wisdom existed. Back in Proverbs 8, beginning at verse 26, while as yet He had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When He prepared the heavens, I was there. When He set a compass upon the face of the depth, He said, I was there. Verse 28, when He established the clouds above, when He strengthened the fountains of the deep, when He gave to the sea His decree, that the waters should not pass His commandment, when He appointed the foundations of the earth. And He said in verse 29, He gave to the sea a decree that the waters should not pass His commandment. Have you ever wondered why the ocean waves come up to the shore and then stop there? Have you ever thought about why doesn't the water just keep on going? Why the orbit of the earth on its axis and the pull of the gravitation between the earth and the moon and both of those between the sun and other planets, all of those forces, why the water goes up to the edge and then recedes every way. It goes up and it comes back. It doesn't just go over and just keep on going any which way. Why doesn't it just wash over and cover everything and then go back again every so often? And why does it go to a certain spot and then recede, go back and recede, all day long, all night long? That there's a certain limit to where the waves come in. That's why you can identify the shapes of the continents and the countries in the world. Because the water stops at the beach and goes back. I've often wondered, the ocean is a very strong force. I mean, you think about the depths of the ocean, 2 and 3 miles deep in some places, maybe more than that, 4 or 5 miles deep. That's a lot of water. What keeps it from just washing over the high spots once in a while? God made it in such a way that it does what it's supposed to do, it stops where it's supposed to stop. But here in verse 27 he says, when He prepared the heavens, I was there. So if this is wisdom speaking, saying, I was there when God did these things, and if we take that and we apply that to Jesus Christ, then obviously the Jehovah's Witnesses are wrong. God didn't make Jesus, and then Jesus made everything else, because He says, when God prepared the heavens, I was there. He didn't say, God made me and I prepared the heavens. But God did these things through the agent, through the person of Jesus Christ. So although Jesus is also given credit for making the heaven and the earth, God is the one that also shares the credit. You can't see, if you have a Trinitarian